Thank you all for coming in. Really important part of this conversation. Dr. King's dream, right, was to get representation, to get people heard. And James, let me start with you, because if you look at it right now, 10 to 12 people on Charlotte City Council, people of color. Do you see that as a win? Would Dr. King see that as a win?
Well, I see it as great progress. We haven't won yet because we've still got a way to go. I think Dr. King, being as prophetic as he was, would say similar things, that it's encouraging, but it tells us we made some distance, but we got a distance to go.
Alicia, even women representation is part of this too, right? It's 9 of 12 women on Charlotte City Council right now. How important is that?
It's very important. You know, representation matters. It matters not only for the younger generation, but also for folks like us who are in the trenches doing the work every day to advance racial and social justice.
How important do you see the progress that's being made in the city right now?
Extremely important. We're very proud of the progress that's being made, but as others have already stated, we've got a long way to go. We've made progress in terms of representation, but we need to make progress in terms of implementation and participation, that everyone can feel the impact of their vote, and that it indeed matters.
How do we take that next step?
Well, to encourage to continue to encourage folks to vote, and not only that, to hold our candidates or those who are elected, hold them accountable that they will actually do what they promised.
I think about too the power in the community right now with the churches, the Black Political Caucus. I mean, that is an endorsement every candidate wants to win, you know, in the city. That also seems to me as a sign of progress.
Absolutely.
How important do you think that is, Alicia?
I think it's a sign of progress, but I echo my dear friend here. I think, you know, representation does matter, but we have to make sure that the folks who are elected and in these positions are actually doing the things they said they were going to do. They're actually implementing policies that benefit Black and brown communities, that benefit unserved communities when they're in office.
So where are we falling short right now?
I think it's easy to say we're falling short in X, Y, and Z category. I think I would prefer to state it in a way that where we could do better is to, you know, make sure that communities are protected. In the city of Charlotte right now, there is a lot of growth. There's rapid growth. There's a lot of corporations coming into the city, and, you know, our elected officials are very in tune with that. And so what I do and what my organization does is we make sure that the people who are in these historically and predominantly Black neighborhoods can remain in the neighborhoods and can be a part of that growth, as opposed to being pushed out through gentrification and other different means.
James, you only got to go a half a mile outside of this television station and see the impact of what Alicia's talking about, right?
Well, that's very true, and we have made tremendous, commendable progress, but we have to remember that there's still much progress we need to make, a bigger road we need to travel. For example, right now, if we look at voter turnout, we find that Black voter turnout has been on the decline here lately.
How do you explain it?
Increase. Well, I think there are a number of ways to explain it. One is quite apart from efforts that have been made, not necessarily here in Charlotte, but around the country, to discourage Blacks from voting and to bring charges against people who are trying to exercise their basic right, that sort of thing. But we have to make sure we keep up the struggle, we keep up the progress, and that we let our people know that although we've made progress, there's still a long way to go.
Pastor Walker, I'm curious, you know, from the previous generation who fought so hard for these rights to make sure you got access to the ballot box and all those things, does the younger generation appreciate that work, and are they still engaged in this effort?
I would think that they do appreciate it. Whether they're engaged in it, that's another question. There seems to be a degree of apathy that exists among voters everywhere, particularly young African American voters. People seem to be disenchanted with their elections, and the fact is, does my vote really matter? I hear what you say, but then I see what you do. And is what you're doing really impacting me, you know, in my daily life? Am I seeing food on my table? Am I struggling to make sure my children are educated? Am I receiving the goods and services that I'm being promised to the degree that everyone else is receiving them? And to a large degree, they're not.
Alicia, you're on the ground floor on this.
Oh yeah, we're on the ground educating and engaging, especially our younger black voters. And you know, one of the things we do For the Struggle is we make sure we meet people where they are. We make sure they understand this is why voting for this elected official is important. This is why local elections are far more important than our national elections, your presidential election, because they're making more decisions about your everyday life, right? And so making sure folks understand how voting impacts them on a daily basis is very important. And for me as an individual and as a civil rights attorney, one of the things I tell younger voters all the time is if for any other reason you decide to vote, it needs to be because they don't want you to vote, right? Partisan gerrymandering is still real. Racial gerrymandering is still real. Voter suppression laws are still very real. Vote because they don't want you to vote. There's a reason they're doing all of these things.
And it can't just be certain elections, James, right? It has to be all the elections matter.
It's got to be all the elections all the time.
That's right.
There's no time when you can say, well, I'll sit this one out because it doesn't matter. It always matters, so we have to be vigilant about that.
2024, obviously a major election year, but you have changes this year too. Voter ID, those kinds of things are now in place. How much education has to go into that?
A great deal. We want people to not be discouraged to go vote. If they want you to show your ID, then have an ID. Unfortunately, that has occurred. That law has taken place. So we just have to abide by it, so that whatever factors exist to try to discourage you from voting, we've got to overcome them, and encourage each other to just do it until we arrive to a place where laws can change that are much more fair.
But at least it's making sure they have the ID to begin with, right?
That's right. And making sure folks are educated and understand that you have to have an ID. Because the reality is when you have a single mom who's coming home from work and she said, I'm going to do my civic duty, I'm going to vote, and she gets there without her ID, she's not going back. Right? And so making sure we're getting on the front end of this from an education perspective, making sure folks know what they need to vote and where they need to go to vote, right? And who they're voting for is very important.
James, if people don't turn out, what are they risking?
Well, they're risking losing much, if not all the progress we made over the years, of missing out on opportunities to have meaningful representation in every aspect of government, which we still need, because although we've made many progress in civil rights, which voting rights is a big part of that, we're still a long way from where we need to be ultimately. So we have to be vigilant all the time.
James Ferguson, Alicia Brown, Pastor Dwayne Walker, I appreciate you guys all coming in tonight to talk to us.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
very
for
much.
having us.
Thank you. Thank you.